Agenda West Side Beer.
Was just giggling nonstop.
You have to say that right as I'm taking a drink of my Truly.
But that's the timing of it, right? Is that every time right before we start to talk, somebody does
funny.
it. Somebody hits something, drops something.
Says
Hi, welcome to the episode of Into the West Comics. My name is Frank. Welcome to the Republican National Convention. Just kidding. Hulkster's not coming out tonight.
Wait, don't turn it.
Please don't change.
Don't change it.
The hot dog, corn dog, independent dog.
Yes.
Paul is here.
Mm-hmm. Nonpartisan. That's not what he
That
wants.
is not.
Way to
independent.
stick with the joke, Juan.
Disney is the happiest place on earth. Disney adult.
Yeah.
Proud Disney adult.
Yes.
You got that right.
Yeah.
Uncle Nephew Shane is here. He's giggling like crazy. You already saw him.
Yeah, morning.
And please welcome our special guest. You can't keep laughing all the time. And please welcome our special guest, is one of the founding fathers of our nation and of our show, Lord Garlic Knot.
What?
Brother Rob is back.
What's up?
It's been a minute because you were saying as we were walking in today that you have not been on the show
Since the premiere of
since
House
the
of the
premiere
Dragon
House of the
season
Dragon.
1.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's been a minute.
I think that was the last
That
one.
sounds
Yeah.
right, because I think we were talking about the hype levels or something for the two shows.
And I remember at the time I was learning High Valyrian on Duolingo, and I quit that. So
I was about
I'm
to
not
say,
here to flex
how's it
any High
going?
Valyrian.
Are you gonna? Do you have dragon eggs? Is that what you're gonna tell us tonight?
No,
I was going to have him just wow us with his High Valerian.
I cannot. I failed on that. I have failed.
How do
I
you
am
say
about as
Shane
good
in High
as
Valyrian?
Aegon in an episode or two ago. I'll tell you that much.
Aegon needs some babble or dueling. He needs.
You
it
mean
all.
I have to make war?
That was
Yes.
That was fantastic.
I have to. How to make a war?
How to make war?
I laughed out loud.
Anyway.
He's like asking, "Where is the library?"
My record player is broken.
We're going to get into that in a moment and all the hijinks that ensue from the Hot D action. But before we get into that, probably the hottest of all takes, the most controversial and polarizing show of the season, Paul, especially of the summer.
Sure.
Twins keep getting into trouble. The Acolyte finale was just a couple of days ago. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts of what you thought of the finale and what you thought of the show as a whole. I'm going to start with...
Oh.
I'm going to start with Paul.
Oh.
Start on a positive note.
I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought the finale was solid, and I think that there was some fun stuff that happens. The acting and the dialogue is still not very good, but The show just didn't bother me the way it bothered some people. And I thought it was a quick, fun watch. And it's over now. So everyone who has literally, it's ruined their lives and Star Wars can calm down. It's okay.
The last 7
It's
weeks
over.
of my life has been ruined.
And you didn't have to watch it all,
Come on.
by the way. You could have just stopped watching it if you hated it so much.
Nobody's
also-
doing
you
that
also-
here.
You also could just go watch the finale and be fine.
Sure.
Agreed.
Yeah, but
So-
I thought it was
y'all
fine.
should've
I
done.
thought the fights were fun. I thought the character development was fun enough and interesting enough. It did lack in a lot of areas. But again, I'm not as offended as people like Quan who say it's ruined everything
Shane,
about
how
Star
offended
Wars.
are you?
On a scale of 1 to 50?
1 to 50.
What
How
would you
offended
give,
are you?
out of 50, what would you give the show? Quan
I'm
gave it a 6.
offended. I'm at 43 on a on
Producer
offended
Quan on
for
a scale of 1 to 50 gave
1
it a
to 50.
6.5.
Not
Really?
even. He said 6.
Oh, okay, just a 6.
Yeah.
If we're just talking about the finale, it was fine. It was fine. It was much better as thing, mainly because it's a finale. It was good. It was pretty good.
Quan
You really just liked it because you knew it was over.
It was over. Well, I guess that's that. Because I know this isn't going to be back for how much it costs to make this thing. Chances are this will not be back.
Not on that budget.
No. But did it look like it was, they spent 100 and how much? 180?
I think there was embezzlement going on.
It looked like, I would say it looked like they spent it. The scenery was fine.
They spent it all on
I don't
set.
think they spent it on dialogue writers.
No, they didn't pay writers.
They
or
spent
acting
it on
coaches.
lessons for Basil to be a drug sniffing dog.
Yeah.
Whatever. Here, Basil. Here's your backpack.
Highlight of the show.
Go
in
find
all
it.
reality.
Yeah,
I think he barked in the last episode, actually.
The saber scene was great. That
Mhm.
was truly
the bleeding saber.
That
thing?
was amazing. The
That was very cool.
sabers, dueling saber scene was great.
Yep.
But for everything else, for the wrap up of the story, for the storytelling and the series as a whole, it just wasn't very good. And I think everybody is pretty much on board with that assessment.
Yeah, I don't know how many people
great.
are like, it's the best thing I've ever watched.
I don't think
'cause-
anybody is saying
No.
Go
I
ahead,
don't think so.
Was it as good as Ahsoka? That's cool. It's
For me, it was about on par.
I think it was about the same.
Yeah. I
It would be
think.
General Shakuka.
I know that then Ahsoka wins easily.
The tiebreaker is Shakuka.
It was Shakuka.
Oh.
Who
In all reality,
break the tie.
Ahsoka's cameo was much stronger than the last one as well.
That's true, too.
There was okay, yes, we saw Yoda and we saw Darth Plagueis. Like, okay, that's fine. But the episode with Anakin fighting Ahsoka, like, that elevates higher than anything Acolyte
That's
did.
Agreed.
That's
And
fair.
I'm coming from liking Acolyte for the most part. Like, I can agree the dialogue was
Yeah.
terrible, the writing was terrible, the acting was terrible. But when it came to the story and when it came to lightsaber fights and duels and the mystery of the villain, maybe you are like, okay, he didn't pan out to be what I wanted him to be. He's no Vader. He's no Kylo Ren.
Yeah, it was-
he's
it was
none of
fun.
that either. But still, like, it was enjoyable not knowing something
I
going
agree.
into it.
And I love that all the characters in it were characters we had never met before for the most part.
Sure.
And I also think to like kind of touch on your thing about the Anakin Ahsoka thing. So I feel like I'm a little bit jaded because I don't like the prequels. I don't think Hayden Christensen is a good actor, and I don't have this attachment to the Clone Wars that everyone else has.
You don't like the prequels, like any of them.
I think Revenge of the Sith is the only one that I would say is a good movie, and
Okay.
even that one has got some pretty silly stuff in it. The other two, one is boring for 2 hours and has a really cool fight scene at the end. The other one is a complete and total mess. Attack of the Clones is a mess from start to finish, with again a cool fight scene at the end.
A big fight scene.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Biggest fight scene we've
But-
seen up to that
so
point.
I don't have like this attachment to Christensen that everyone else did. So those scenes
It didn't
didn't
mean anything.
really hit for me, and I don't love Ahsoka as a character. I don't not like her, but so Acolyte and Ahsoka are about even for me.
I don't think I don't like what they did with Ahsoka's character
She was
for the most part. She was just very bland.
yes,
But I'll take that.
She was the least interesting character of the show.
Right.
And the show's named after her.
Right. That's the problem with it. But
Yeah.
I'll take her 1,000 times before
I was
Soul.
more interested
Before
in
Soul.
the
Yeah.
in the plot of Acolyte than I was in the plot of Ahsoka. It had me guessing more and more interested in.
I think
going,
I would agree
what's
with
going
that.
on?
And I think I loved it also because it's a time in the Star Wars canon that we'd never seen before, other than in the comics and the books, like High Republic.
Mhm.
So I was really excited because I was hyped on the High Republic comic books for a while. And it was a letdown in that sense of like, dang, this is what you opened with to bring the High Republic
know.
into like the cinematic universe.
We're going
Yeah.
into the Chimera
Rough.
theory.
Okay, so Chimera, you were asking me about the stranger and all of that and like who he is. And so there's this thought that many people have that maybe this brings something to it, but that helmet specifically. So the helmet, I immediately thought Knights of Ren, and then I was like super distant when it comes to timeline. That doesn't make sense too
Yeah.
much. But there's this helmet in the comics. There's a Darth Momin that Charles Soule wrote, and he was a Sith, and he was a villain. And what happened was he went up against a bunch of Jedi. They killed him, but his consciousness was trapped in his helmet that looked very similar to what the stranger wears.
To what that design. That
Correct.
style.
So it looks kind of like the cinematic version of that comic book one. He's introduced in Lando issue 4, and then it's brought back in Darth Vader because a big thing is Palpatine finds this helmet. He gives it to Vader, and Vader starts having visions and all these different things because the consciousness of Momin is trying to get into Vader's consciousness.
Interesting.
So people have been likening that to when Osha puts on the helmet.
Oh,
And
yeah, sure.
all of a sudden she's having these flashes and seeing these different things. And even when like multiple people are around the helmet, you're hearing whispers, it gets intense. It has all these different things. So a lot of people are theorizing that is that helmet and that there's a dark power that's playing through it. And it's going to be a bigger piece than just, it's just the stranger's helmet.
Yeah, sure.
Do you think
That's
so do you think that for the short time that she had the helmet on, that she could have started to see, that Osha could have started to see, I've been following the wrong path,
Potentially.
or it could have been helping her. finally
Because
make
after
it-
that
make it-
moment
make up her
is when
mind.
she still denies him, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
when
yeah.
she kills Soul that she's ultimately like, nope, this is happening. I'm on this side of it.
Yeah.
I'm on the dark side of
And
this.
there's some clarification because there are some people saying that there was a bleeding into the kyber crystal. That's not exactly how it happens. No one picks a red kyber crystal.
Yeah.
The kyber crystal changes to red based on emotion. So it's based on anger, rage, fear. Those
And
are
it's
the kind of things
corrupting
that,
the
it's
crystal
corrupting the
itself.
crystal
Yeah.
that makes it red. She didn't like bleed into it and like
You're
you know,
right.
like you're dipping fruit
Not
punch
what
or
it- you're
something.
right.
You know. Yeah, I mean it wasn't.
Don't
like,
drop your kyber
So-
crystal in the punch.
Please don't. I want no kyber
You
punch.
got your kyber crystal.
You're
in the-
straight to a Darth.
You're gonna pitch
that
that for
point.
some truly, maybe a mashup, a Star Wars kyber crystal punch.
This is good, man.
You drink it, feeling a little, I don't know, Sithy.
Angry.
So I think one of people's
I hate you, man.
Just,
Let's drink.
really planned with this dropping your kyber crystal in the punch joke. So I think, and Quan has kind of voiced this to us before the show, and I don't think it's invalid. He and a lot of people feel like this has kind of ruined the Jedi and made them seem like losers and kind of like idiots, and they're not good guys, and so on and so forth. The reason that did not bother me in the show is because I already had that moment with the prequels. The prequels do that to Jedis. They make them oblivious dummies who can't pay attention to anything and lose most of the fights they're in. And they're always acting like they're so high above everything. And none of them are actually like hard workers or anything. They're all these super special people who just happen to be born with this microorganism that's in their blood. I hate all of that stuff.
Yeah,
And
they're
the fact-
special.
And the fact that this show called out some of that stuff and kind of like was like, oh, maybe they are idiots, didn't bother me
So the
because I've
original
been feeling like
pitch
that since
of-
I was 10 years old.
Well, I think that
All right.
the original pitch, Shane,
sense.
for Leslie Headland was that she wanted to make an Asajj Ventress film or show.
That would have been dope.
And they said, nah. And then she
Why?
wanted to make this, when the Acolyte thing was originally pitched, it was going to be something darker. And Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy said, cool. Disney said no.
Interesting.
And they said, we want you to switch it up. We want you to do this. So
Murder
some of
mystery,
it,
but it was still pretty dark on a lot,
it
a lot
was,
of levels.
but I
for
think
this.
with some
You know
of
what I mean?
this dynamic is you've got to please a lot of different audiences,
Right.
and sometimes not everybody's going to receive it the same way. I'm saying I'm trying to be as optimistic as I can with this show. I did not care for Eternals, but I tried to rewatch Eternals. Would you go back and rewatch this show, trying to wrap your head around it again?
only
I
way
mean,
I would
I
do
don't
it-
watch TV.
I tell you what. I tell you why I would try is because what Paul gives it. Because we talked about it before we started. Paul kind of gives it this higher mark than probably most people are giving it. Maybe I'll give it another shot and at
Okay.
least try to rewatch it because I respect
But
Paul's.
we have to go
opinion.
out of 10 then.
Thank you,
We
Shane.
got to do this. Shout out to
But you don't
our
have to do
brother,
that.
Sonny. You know, he would always go
Yeah.
around the room and get a 1 out of 10 score. What do you give the show out of 10?
I went 6.65.
That's what I'm saying. Rob too. Like these, these are high marks for a show that really didn't see a lot of light.
What do you give it out of 10?
4,
Okay.
4.2, like, and that's being generous on my end. I was thinking 3, but that's pretty low. I'll give it 4.2.
My standards aren't super high either. Like in all reality, I keep track
Come
of all the
on.
shows I watch on IMDb and I rate them, and the lowest rated one is a 4.
Oh,
so-
wow. Okay.
That's
Like
to be
saying
fair.
you'd agree with it.
What'd
You
you
say you would agree with it if they gave it a 4. You say,
If you gave-
I think
yeah,
that
that's
is a 4.
like- Okay, that feels lower than I would give it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Star Wars was a huge piece of my childhood too. So I think
so
there's a
this is
little bit of that
love.
plays into
Brendan
it.
agrees with you, Shane. Brendan, Collector Without Fear. Shout out to Brendan. He's in here in the chat saying he would go 4 as well.
Yeah, it's
I-
just around there. Just for what we see, for what they give us, and for that acting is absolutely atrocious, and it never gets better. It really does not get better, and that's because of the script is bad.
That's why I take 4 off of the 10.
Right.
Is the
4 out of
acting.
50.
So-
no,
Yeah, 4 out of
Paul,
50.
what would you give the score?
I'd give it a 6 out of 10, and the reason is because 2.0. But I think once I give something a 5, that's kind of my okay. I didn't like this. 6 is where I'm like, yeah, was it great? No, but I did enjoy it. So I'll give it a 6 for that. But that's been most of the Star Wars stuff through all the TV shows and things, other than The Mandalorian and Andor, which I really loved. But yeah, and I'm really hesitant to give something like a 10, and I'm also really hesitant to give something like a 2 or a 3. But yeah, 6 out of 10 for me. I understand why like Quan gives it a 2. But I also get why Rob really enjoyed it, probably even a little more than myself. But also, I like watching Star Wars stuff. I think Star Wars stuff is cool, and it's still this unique corner. Nobody has really like managed to ape like what Star Wars is, and their own little universe and unique like world. And so I really, even though I say I don't like the prequels, I watch the prequels on a fairly regular basis,
Sure.
like once a year probably, just because they're fun. Are they kind of silly and ruin some of the things I liked about
Phantom
the originals?
Menace came
Yeah.
back out.
I mean,
in theaters a couple months back. I went and saw it with Milkshake.
Such a unique and diverse universe. I will watch pretty much everything that comes from it and enjoy it. And okay, so that I'm glad I kind of reminded myself of that. I think
are
the
too.
fact, I'll say it in a second. Calm down, everybody. I think the fact that so many people have read the books from the 90s and the 80s and the 2000s and stuff have kind of
You're talking about the Timothy Zahn stuff? Some of that
and
stuff.
the other stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of ruined the idea that Star Wars is an original IP. It's not based on the books. People who want it to be based on the books, I don't agree with you. I don't want it to be yet another thing that's based on the book. I want it to be its own thing that lives in movies and TV. And that's what I like about Star Wars. I've got Dune. I've got Lord of the Rings. I've got comic book stuff for things based on something where, we're pulling from this lore. That's another thing I kind of liked about the Acolyte. Like, it's its own thing. It's
It
not
was separate.
based on
amazing.
It
something.
Yeah,
opened the world
Yeah.
wider, and I
They-
think that's
they got
something
enough
Star Wars
separation
needed
to-
soon, because now we're getting Ahsoka, who we already saw. We get Obi-Wan, who we already saw. We get Andor, that's also coming from Rogue One. So
Yeah.
it's like this was finally a spot in the universe where a lot of people got upset, like, oh, how can these witches believe in the Force in this way? That's not canon. I'm like, no, it's a different part of the universe. Like we're finally expanding this space.
To me, canon is what has happened on screen. Anything else, I personally do not care about. Can it be fun and good to read? Sure, but if you start projecting that on what the TVs and movies, I'm not
Like I
with
did
you
with the
on that.
helmet.
But
Well, no. But you're not. No, but
honestly.
Rob, you're not like oh,
Forcing
because if it doesn't do that, it's bad.
It's
No.
speculation.
I don't.
Yes,
yeah,
correct.
But
yeah.
if you're like, and they have pulled some things from the books because they're good ideas, but acting like that's what they have to do because that's what was written before.
But it is disappointing when it lands with a thud where they could have not only expanded this part of it that not everybody knows about or it's different, but they just could have done it so much better. There's
Sure,
so
I don't
many
disagree with
ways
that. Yeah.
they could have just hire some people that can act, like hire some writers that can write. I mean, it's basic 1, 2, 3, ABC stuff. Don't give us stuff where it's automatic, where we're watching and just going. It's hard to get over some of these just basic things that should be good.
But there's a lot of
It's not
conversations
happening.
that we're never going to be privy to, but they have in development with Lucasfilm and Disney. The upper management people
I know.
are going to say, like, we need content on Disney Plus. Prior to the Acolyte being released, Disney said that with their streaming, their parks, just overall revenue, they've lost $4 billion.
That's crazy.
From their films. I mean, they lost like 3 in the last 4 years.
I want them.
So I mean,
to
Good
start
Lord.
making Star Wars movies again, and in the Disney era, which
and we're gonna
everyone
get like different
is so
ones, right?
maligned.
Yeah.
We're gonna get like a Rey
I
film
think-
or series. We're gonna get a Knights of the Old Republic. Mangold, right, is gonna do a Knights of the Old Republic.
yeah.
I think.
And I think Patty Jenkins is still doing Rogue Squadron.
We think.
Other than Rise of Skywalker, which does have its moments, I like all of the Disney Star Wars movies, even Solo, which a lot of people don't like. I like Solo.
Solo's
I
okay.
think it's fine.
It's better the second.
And
You gotta wait. You gotta watch.
So is
it.
Acolyte, okay?
I'll find out and let you know.
Rob.
so
Shane and I are
want
gonna watch
them
together.
to start making movies again. That's what I want.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Some
enough
of
with
this
the-
stuff
enough
should
with the
play
shows.
out on film,
Yeah.
on big screens.
Yeah.
Enough with
You know.
with the series. Just make a hardcore.
And I think
film.
the linchpin for a lot of people's hatred of the Disney stuff is The Last Jedi. I love The Last Jedi.
Last Jedi's
and I
great.
realize that's very divisive.
that.
It might be my favorite Star
Was that
Wars.
8?
Really?
thing.
Was that the middle one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
didn't like.
Yeah, but
See,
and that's
so
a lot
that
of
makes
people.
sense.
Though.
See, a lot of
Like I'm
people,
not
yeah.
shocked that Rob didn't like it, but
Yeah.
I did.
Real quick, and then we're gonna switch gears to the Land of Dragons. Do you think we will get a second season of Acolyte?
No.
Okay.
I hope we do.
You hope we do.
I hope we do because I think a little bit more expansion on the story and maybe some new actors
Oh.
could lift it a little bit. I
Shakuka?
think,
No, she would.
but
No Shakuka or something Shakuka like. Will there
I mean
be
that's
any
a,
butts
those are
in
some. They got some big name people in the other shows, so I'm like, I
butt
don't
people?
understand.
there? Just kidding.
We were missing.
Rob
we were
just keep
missing.
trying to ignore you.
I am.
I think we'll get
That's
a
why I
second
don't get
season.
invited back.
I think that's not why.
I know, it's my busyness.
I was like, just ignore him.
I never gave my grade for the show.
Oh, go.
But I'd give it like a 5.5, 6. I
Okay.
mean, I think that the stuff I liked, I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
You're 5.5. You're going
But there's
closer
a-
to 5.5 or
But
closer to 6.
the problem with you
Shame.
giving anything in like somewhere near the middle as far as a rating for the show. We'll move on really quick, but you're going like 4 to 6 in that range. It just shows how inconsistent
Sure.
some of the
Yeah.
stuff is going to be processed, and you're seeing on screen. You're like, this is.
Because a 5 means
And then something really cool happens, and then you're like,
Hey.
a 5 means you could have
know what I
9
mean?
moments and you could have 1 moment.
yeah,
It's like that's what you're saying with a 5.
it's like the two within the episode 5 is one where the lightsaber stuff, all the stuff's going on.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
like that
right?
episode a lot.
That the fight sequences, all that stuff is awesome. It's top tier Star Wars, not just Star Wars shows. It's top tier Star Wars as far as action and everything. The content of the story for this show just feels like it's mind numbing. Some of
I
it.
know.
And-
Frank, if there was an episode 6, I believe, where you texted, you just go, man, that was trash, bro.
there are,
Bruh,
but
did you see
there's
it?
that too.
You see Acolyte?
That's a
Not
5.
yet. He goes, trash.
If you're okay,
Frank.
If you didn't watch it yet, you don't need to.
Yeah. Frank said, don't put that.
I'm gonna try to rewatch it. I'm trying
Only
because I
20,
like Star
30-minute
Wars.
episodes.
Me
I'm
too.
hopeful for Star Wars.
Me
It's
too.
like
Oh,
the
yeah.
Rob
equivalent
is
of 2 movies.
Rob is giving me guilt over not. I haven't read High Republic.
Right.
I got
High
to read the
Republic
Star
was
Wars
great.
High Republic stuff. I started like the first arc of the first phase, and I was telling Rob, I was like, I'm not really.
I think I read the
I'm not-
first 2 issues.
not
So
in-
they
I don't know
also
if I'm
they have
into it.
mini series in them too. So there's like the Blade was
Yep.
a big one. There was also Trail of Shadows or something like that.
Sounds
But
dope.
those are like much smaller. That's like 3 or 4 issues that is in that universe. If Acolyte could have done what those 4 books did, it would have been wild.
Sure.
But
We might get to it eventually. Put it on the list.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I don't know why I said that.
allegedly,
Love that word.
Want to kind of
Great
shift
work.
gears as far as another show that's going on right now. It's not done yet. We're probably like 3 weeks away from the second season of House of the Dragon ending. I wanted to get your guys' thought. A little different pace for this season 2, episode 5. A little different pace to the show. We got some good action in episode 4, and episode 5 not so much. We got a
But
lot.
it was still good.
It's still good storytelling within this episode, but I want to get your guys' thoughts. I'm going to start with
The big dog.
the Maester.
The main.
the Maester.
The Meister.
I should have brought my chains. No, I've been
And leeches.
loving this season. I love this episode. I texted some people afterwards, and they were like, "Man, it was boring." Because my wife and I didn't even get to watch it together. I was out of town, but she texted me. She goes, "Well, that was an episode," and I was like, "Yeah, okay." Like
Kaylee wasn't feeling it.
Setting it up.
It was a little too slow, I think. And I think that's a lot of people's opinions, especially after episode 4. Because 4 felt like episode 9 of a Game of Thrones season, where it's the biggest
it's
episode.
The second to last
And
episode,
then
a lot of stuff
5
happened. You're like, whoa.
Yeah, and then 5 felt like a 10, where it was like, okay, let's finish off the season right after that big moment. But I think I'm privy to liking those episodes too, because I've read the Fire and Blood book that goes with the series.
Yeah.
I haven't read the whole thing because, oh man, it's a slog to get through. It's a history book. But I went back and I read the Dance of the Dragons sections for House of the Dragon. So I know what's coming. And there were so many moments in this episode where I was like, yep, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. When Jace was talking to his mom at the end and he's like, we need to find dragon riders. I'm like, more dragons. And I know they're
Hot
coming.
dragon
So
action.
I get excited about that
And
kind of
that's
stuff.
the
Hot
thing.
action.
It's a setup. It was a really great setup episode for, and there are parts in it where like there's different ways to win a war. You know what I mean? Like there's different ways to win this. And there's funny parts in it where Damon is telling the Highlanders, like, you guys have to join us or we're going to kill you. And they're just like, whatever.
And then it flashes to him sitting on the rock. He's
Sitting
like,
there just
I
going,
don't get it. Yeah, you don't, Damon, because you're an idiot.
Yeah, you're a moron.
He's been tripping balls for 3 episodes. It's just
Dude,
Yeah.
that's also a storyline that a lot of people are like, hey, we're done with it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, but we're really seeing who Damon is at this
Yeah.
moment. Like, you can
I love
tell
it.
that Damon is maybe going to break away from Rhaenyra. Is he doing his own thing? Is he going to is he going to take a shot at the throne? Like, what is happening with
He's
him?
telling people to call him your grace. Like what is his real motivation for why he's there and what he's
my
doing?
favorite part, I think, is at episode 3 of that whole dynamic with Harrenhal is that he goes there and he says, I'm here to claim this. They're like, all right. Like, there's no argument. It's just like,
you want the duck or you want the chicken? You can have the castle
like,
with it.
you have whatever you want. You want the bed?
My prince?
You want extra pillows? Whatever you want. We don't care.
You
Take
pick the
whatever you
room.
want. It doesn't matter.
This castle is empty.
You're like, you have whatever you want. They're just
great.
like, okay. We give up.
There's some great humorous moments we've seen in this season compared to the first season. But yeah, I love the episode. So
Yeah, I thought it was.
I'm glad I went last because as you know, I was rewatching the first season and I'm only on episode 2 of the second season. I'm glad I went last because I didn't want you guys to be dancing around spoilers.
No.
I don't really,
Oh,
I don't really
I'm
care.
sorry.
Oh,
I
I'm
don't really
sorry,
care.
Oh,
But I'm excited to get to episode 4, namely, because I've heard so many good things about it.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed the. I'm towards the end of the first episode or beginning of the second episode. I don't know. I'm like binging them, so I don't really know where I'm at exactly. But I really enjoy the show. I like it more than I like Game of Thrones, which I feel like is not how most people are feeling.
it's a bold statement.
But we talked about
That
it
is pretty
on shout out video that's going to be up at the end of this live stream. We
Yeah,
talked
about
about it in a
half an hour
video
from
that's
now.
going to be up where I think the kind of the narrow of focus for House of the Dragons, I enjoy more than the kind of broad like gajillion people. My
Mhm.
broad gajillion people universe is Lord of the Rings. I've got
Sure.
so much space taken up
Mhm.
in my brain with that. The Game of Thrones and just the kind of nastiness of it sometimes. I was like, I like it when the good guys win. But this show has been a little more, it's been a little more my speed, even though it's still kind of that vibe. And it's like we have a narrower focus of characters, and I've enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think too, Rob. I mean, I know Rob is a big Game of Thrones guy.
I don't think Game of
Big
Thrones is
Game of
bad.
No, I'm not. No,
Yeah.
not at all. I'm not saying you're saying that. I think that there's issues with that. It is just dealing with two houses primarily. I mean, you do get references to the Brackens and the
You got the
Tarleys and
Starks.
the Starks. You're
Yeah.
getting that kind
Yeah.
of. We open.
We're
with-
finally
going to-
getting
That was
there.
great.
We're at the
That
wall in
was-
the beginning of the second
Yep.
season.
Yeah.
But within Game of Thrones, you could spend 2-3 episodes with this pair going on their adventure type of thing, and then you might not see them again until the second to last episode or the first episode of the next season.
Yeah.
Because there is so much
Mhm.
going on within these characters.
Which I wanted to get, especially with Rob, because you know Game of Thrones inside and out. Like, how do you feel about their traveling? Like, you know, that was the big thing for the first series about how they tried to make it realistic. Their travel. Every time they went someplace, it took them a while to get there. And House of the Dragon, it seems like it doesn't take them all that long.
Oh, Gimli just
Like,
speed walks.
yeah,
to
they
the-
just kind of they're just
there and
they
back.
show up places.
Yeah,
He ran a
I think-
5K.
I mean, one of the things you have to take into consideration is a lot of them now are traveling by dragon. So
Right.
that's for Jace to get to the wall and then back, and like for Aemon and Aegon to
Right.
get to Rook's Rest. Like that. I guess that really doesn't take that long. But you're seeing
Right.
Kristen like travel and stuff like that. But I also
So
think,
Rhaenyra to get back to King's Landing.
yes, after that King's
was
Landing
she
thing.
getting
But
there?
they did a little bit play into that when the people are around the table and they're like, "Where is she? Like, where?"
Right.
Even Jace is like, "Where's my mother? Like, why is she
Right.
not
Why is
here?"
she not here?
So I get that, but I also, having read the books and knowing the source material they're coming from, it moves fast. It's like paragraph, and they're switching places. Like it's moving quick because it's written like history. So I see where the show's coming from of like, hey, we need to move from this moment to this moment to this moment to this moment to this moment. I haven't had any moments like Game of Thrones season 8 when we're like,
Right.
how did
How?
they get to the wall that fast?
Yeah.
And then go back and fight the Night King after that moment. Like I
was
haven't had
bad
any
at
of
that
those
point.
moments.
Because as
So-
far as the time passing, you're like, it usually takes 3 episodes for them to get somewhere.
Right.
Yep.
It's like he left a second ago, and now he's
Yeah.
over here with dragons.
But they are
Hanging
moving,
out.
they're moving people up in age pretty quick too. I mean, we saw that a lot in season 1, but even in this one of like the babies are like they're getting older. So it's like they are showing time passing in that sense as well. So I do appreciate that.
It is nice.
And on the Aegon counter, there is another Aegon, right? There's Rhaenyra has an Aegon too.
I
think one of the
believe
two
so
little ones that she's playing
is
with
also
in the second
Aegon.
episode.
But then also like big spoiler for Game of Thrones, I guess. But like Jon Snow is also Aegon.
Yep.
So it's
There's
like
we got to keep Aegon counting.
And there
My-
was,
one
there
of my
was one
favorite-
before the show even.
There was
House of
Aegon,
Dragons even. The Great
yes,
or whatever
correct.
the hell it's
Yeah,
called.
and one of my favorite moments was when they were in the set.
Aegon's dope.
When it was Rhaenyra and Alicent, and they give each other a look, and they realize, oh crap, Alicent, you really thought this wrong. Like you did not understand what was
Oh,
happening.
yeah.
And she goes, she
Yeah.
literally goes,
Yeah.
and
the
Rhaenyra
look
just
on
kind of
her
like
face.
smiles, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yep, there it is. Too many Aegons.
Yeah.
There are. They ain't got no more names. Everybody's Jaehaerys, Maharis, Laharis.
But you could say
Jaehaerys
but
Maharis?
I don't care what
Maharis.
anybody says.
Are you
about-
putting down a verse in a rap song? or
That's
something?
something to take
That was
great.
I don't care what anyone says. I thought
Straight
this,
out of
straight out of
the Drift Mark.
Aegon?
Drift Mark. I was like, what location is he gonna name right now?
Straight out of the Erie. Crazy mother.
All right. Mother effer name Aegon? All right, there you go.
As far as this episode was concerned, I thought it flew by. I don't know. I mean, I
did.
don't
It
know.
moved
Some
fast.
people thought it was kind of slow or whatever, and a lot of stuff didn't happen. But I thought every conversation, every scene, I thought moved right along. Next thing I knew, the hour was over, which means they are moving at a good pace, and that means the scenes are good. That means the acting is good. I dug it, man. I dug this episode a lot, and I like sometimes when if the writing is great, If the acting is great, setup is just fine for me. I got no problem with
Did you hear that, Acolyte? Did you hear that?
What?
Just saying, if you can do this correctly, I'm all for it. I love setup. If
I thought
can
you
do
were
it
going to
correctly-
say that Acolyte just needed more dragons.
I mean,
Wouldn't hurt.
Please.
We all
hurt.
said what we said.
Yeah.
wouldn't hurt.
And Shakuka.
Oh,
And Shakuka. Definitely some Shakuka.
General Shakuka. I wonder how many people get mad if we call it Shakuka. If they call her Shakuka. Why do you keep saying that? Don't they know she's the butt queen?
The general.
what?
The general butt queen? Shakuka.
Why did
What's
you,
the
Aren't you
name?
glad you
What's the
came
name?
on?
Where
Rob,
did
what's
you-
her name again?
where did you
What's the
get
real
that
name?
from?
General
Ahsoka?
Syndulla.
Oh, Syndulla.
Oh, Syndulla. I was like, I still wasn't for sure.
Why-
Syndulla.
Where did you get butt queen from?
Because
I don't know if I really want him to explain that.
I don't
Never
know
mind.
if you do either.
She is truly. Everybody knows.
Anyways, do we have a trailer to
Yeah,
watch or
we're
something?
going to check
Wow.
out the first look teaser trailer for,
Acolyte season 2.
yeah,
That would be exciting.
for General Syndulla.
Look at you.
Part in, like, or what?
I was laughing.
We're going to check out the trailer for Captain America Brave New World,
Oh.
exclusively in theaters next February. I think.
Starring
Clarence.
Starring what?
Sam. What's his last name?
Sam Wilson.
Sam Wilson.
Starring Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson. Yes, that's true.
Sam Wilson.
And General Shakuka. We're going to check it out right now.
Watch it.
Wilson.
Get off my plane.
Thanks for coming in. Well, thank you for the invite, sir. I have to admit, I'm still getting used to the new look.
They said lose the mustache or lose the election. You and I haven't always agreed in the past, but I want to make another run at making Captain America an official military position.
And if we disagree on how to manage this situation, then what happens?
Work with me, Sam. We'll show the world a better way forward.
Sir, your inner circle's been compromised. Either you can't see that, or you don't want to. What if it's a trap?
Global power is shifting. You're just a pawn.
You may be Captain America, but you're not Steve Rogers.
Hey. That was dope. That was dope.
You're right. I'm not.
Hold.
Did he just fly by the statue from Eternals?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he
Good
did.
thing you rewatched it recently. You wouldn't have caught that. I didn't.
Finally, they're doing something with that godforsaken
I was going to say,
Eternals.
like, that feels like that was a while
Yeah.
before.
Years, literally.
Finally.
Oh, brother.
What do you think, Frank?
I can't wait for that. I mean, next
It
year
should
there's
be.
going to be a lot of stuff to watch.
Yeah.
It should be great.
We're
It
going to
should
have
be
Rob
good.
come to the movies with us.
I wish they didn't.
Rob,
year.
come on, man.
You
I
can
wish-
sit by Shane if you want.
Well, are you trying to get me there, or
General Shakuka.
Wow, you deserve that, by the way. You 100% deserve that. I kind of wish they hadn't changed the name. It was New World Order at first, and now it's Brave New World, which
Yeah.
sounds cornier, but I kind of like New World Order.
Why change
Um,
it?
I don't know.
Do you think?
I have no. Maybe it tested better.
Change everything.
is one of them tied to the comic book name though?
I don't know.
It was
New World Order is a Justice League comic book.
There was a when Rogers was part of Hydra. There was a series.
Yeah, I stopped reading those very.
So
early.
did I, but I just remember it was something world. So I'm wondering if one is tied to the other, or if they didn't like it being tied. I'm not.
I don't know, but yeah, I
Maybe
think
it's been used too much.
possibly
maybe-
New World Order.
maybe it's
Yeah,
just-
sure. But I think it looks really cool. I think Sam looks great as Captain America. I wish they would have stuck with the white suit from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I thought that one was really cool. But I would imagine that kind of suit is difficult to film because it's so white, and it probably like green screens make it difficult to film with white and so on and so forth. But
I don't like that. I didn't like the white in it.
Brother Marcus,
But the
do
new
you
one
like
looks dope.
white suits? How are you?
Marcus.
all right.
Hi, Marcus.
Oh, sorry.
we'll talk about it later.
Stand by.
Hold on.
But yeah, I thought it looked really cool, and I hope it retroactively makes Falcon and the Winter Soldier better, which I did like that show. There's one plot element that they go a little too hard on, but I don't know. I'm excited to see
There's
what they do.
a spin-off or tie-in of The Secret Empire
Okay.
that is called Brave New World.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There
That's
you
good.
go.
So that
Very-
could be something that
Could
they're
have
just
something
using
to
as
do
a-
with that maybe they didn't want to throw out there.
They should have called it
yet.
Whole New World.
Yeah, and
A
just
whole new
magic
I
carpet
knew
ride.
that was happening.
No.
There he is.
General
Sultry
Ross
brother
and
Marcus is
Ronnie.
over here. I love that voice,
Yes.
baby.
Good evening, everyone.
What do you think about that
Oh,
trailer
nice.
that you didn't see?
What'd you think about the trailer you didn't watch?
But he saw it already.
Which one? The Brave New World
Brave
one?
New
Yeah.
World.
I'm actually more excited for that than Daredevil, than Deadpool and Wolverine, actually.
Okay.
All right.
Because there's huge Winter Soldier vibes, and
Sure.
I could
Definitely
use that
felt
again.
like that.
I could definitely use that over Ryan Reynolds just being Ryan Reynolds in a red suit.
I mean,
Listen, this movie screams Marcus because Marcus is all about espionage and
Yep.
one of his favorite movies
Absolutely.
is Tenet, for God's sake.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
He's very Tenet heavy and anything.
That's right.
Tenet
and
like
Red Hulk.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Red
And
Hulk.
Red
How do
Hulk
you
is
feel
pretty cool.
about the way they addressed the new Ross? I like your new
That was
look.
that
Yeah,
was
no
funny.
mustache.
With the
That was
mustache.
clever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look different because
They
the old
fixed
guy
it.
that played me died.
Right.
Wow.
I don't think
I'm
they
sure
needed
that's
to
a
call
deleted
attention to
scene.
it.
That's a deleted scene.
The last guy.
That'll be in the special features on the Blu-ray.
Well, Shane was joking about it. He said, like, "Get off my plane" or whatever. Like, that would be pretty funny if he actually says that.
Get off my
in the
plane.
movie.
I wouldn't put it past Marvel for
I didn't
trying
kill
to
my
do
wife.
something.
Who
I don't care.
canonically, that I think that's the right word. Who canonically is supposed to be Red Hulk in this? Is it
Ross.
Ross.
Is it Ross?
Yeah,
It's Ross, yeah.
Just wanted to confirm. So we're gonna see a CGI gigantic jacked Harrison Ford fighting. Is that what's
Yeah.
gonna happen?
You know what I'm kind of saying?
Or he might have been hitting the gym.
So
Or he's just been hitting the gym.
in the comics, when
on a cycle.
Ross turns into the Red Hulk,
Imagine.
he loses his mustache. Like even when he has his mustache, when he turns into Red Hulk, he loses the mustache.
It sprinkles.
I
out of
would
his-
have loved to see a Hulk with a mustache.
What if they do it backwards and when
And he
Harrison
gets
Ford
it?
changes,
That
he
would be
gets his
insane.
mustache?
That would be the best thing I've
Does
ever seen.
doesn't
Like a Pringles
Maestro,
stash?
Maestro, whatever?
He has a
doesn't
beard.
He has like a beard.
He has a
yeah,
beard,
but he
yeah.
doesn't just have the mustache.
Have the goat.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But I'm
he has
yeah,
a beard
it
and
looks
he,
really cool.
and he looks like the king from House of Dragons. You know, the hair, that's standing
He does
out.
have
That's
a little
white
hair,
hair.
yeah.
Yeah.
Viserys, his fingers
I
falling
didn't know
off.
where he was going. with
Viserys' dying looks.
Pull my finger.
Oh, it fell off on its own.
Tragic.
With that said, there can only be one thing that we can do now that I'm sure everybody is pretty much looking forward to.
Rewatching Acolyte.
God, no.
Wow.
I think it's time for Copper Drive!
Didn't you say you were considering rewatching it?
Oh man.
I'm gonna make him rewatch it.
Oh.
All right, for God's sake. Who wants to go first? This is where I judge the best comic books of the week. I am judge, jury, and executioner.
Okay.
I think our special guest Rob should go first.
I wasn't told
Rob!
that they had to be from this week.
They don't have
just-
to be.
no, they don't. They just have to be cool.
Okay, cool. So
Don't let
I
Shane
also
confuse
wasn't
you.
told that one had to be like, you have to be like, oh, you're going to cop it or you're going to drop it. However, I did come up with one to drop. And that is,
You turned this whole thing up on its head.
No,
for
I
know,
God's
I'm
sake.
sorry.
That's great.
Do
I
not
didn't-
read this.
I've got 2 that I want to share, but then I've got I've been reading Feral. Is anybody else reading Feral?
Yeah.
The sequel to
Please,
Stray
please,
Dogs.
yeah.
I'm over it.
Oh, really?
I know. I don't think it's held my attention as much as Stray Dogs did.
Or Frank is offended.
You love it?
Yeah,
Not,
Frank-
not.
It's okay. You hated the Acolyte,
as
and I
much.
liked
I
it,
liked
so we can move on.
I like Stray Dogs a lot. I like Stray Dogs a lot more.
Yes. So that's, I think,
Feral
where-
is ongoing. Stray Dogs
That
is gonna be a
doesn't
limited
change my
series.
mind.
I know.
But okay, so
ahead.
I brought two things. I brought a trade paperback and I brought a book. So speaking of Star Wars universe, I brought Darth Maul, Black, White, and Red. Issue 3 came out this week. So if you know anything about Marvel's Black, White, and Red books, they are standalone essentially. They tell a story in and of just the one book. So what I've loved is, we talked about it earlier, I love when a universe expands. So the Marvel universe, or the Star Wars universe expanding specifically on one of my favorite characters of my childhood. We didn't know anything about him in Phantom Menace, but then we get him in other stuff, and then this stuff comes out, and I'm like, I love Darth Maul. So this is a ton of fun. It's simple. If you just want a Star Wars story, you can pick it up and read it. I also brought The Closet by James Tynion the 14th or whatever he is.
James Tynan. Yeah.
So this is a great. I love this book. So he's famous for his horror stuff. So I love that aspect of him. He's Something's Killing the Children, House of Slaughter, that kind of stuff. But this is 3 issues, and it's about a boy who is seeing monsters in his bedroom. And he's moving from one state to another, and there's some different twists and turns in there. But Tynion really tackles the psyche of like what goes on in a kid's mind and what brings in the fears that kind of stick with us in the future. So I really enjoyed this one. I read it in one sitting, which I don't usually do with trade paperbacks.
Nice.
So I just could not put it down. So.
I might have to go get that.
It does look fantastic. That cover is really.
It's got some good art too.
It's a short read, too. I think it's only 3 issues.
It is. It's really short.
All right, Paulie, what you got?
All right. The first one I'm going to talk about is the return of one of my favorite books from last year. Went on hiatus a little bit after the first volume finished. Issue 6 came out probably like 6 months ago now. And it is restarting with volume 2, or book 2, issue 1, The Hunger in the Dusk, written by G. Willow Wilson and art from Chris Wildgoose. This is basically a fantasy world with what? I'll hold it up longer. Oh, did it not go into focus?
Nice.
Very
There
good,
you go.
Paul.
All right, but one of my favorite things about this book is Wildgoose's
First
art,
week.
which is I really enjoy, and it fits the fantasy genre incredibly well. The story it's definitely not for kids. It toes the line between a little more mature and like probably like PG-13 if you gave it a movie rating, but it's really enjoyable. It picks up where their healer, the orc, and the humans have made a truce to fight the Vangals, who are coming and destroying all of them. And they kind of had a falling out with the orc healer who was with them. She left at the end of the last volume, and they're getting another one who's a human, and the main character has a love story with the orc a little bit, and it's really engaging. And the new healer, who's a person, tries to like kind of seduce him, and he's like, no, I got to go make this right with her, because not only did I hurt our people by shunning her and possibly the truce, I also think I love her. And it's really enjoyable, and G. Willow Wilson is crushing it. And then the other 2 books I'm going to do as one are Absolute Power Task Force 7 and here, where am I at? Right there. Yeah.
Perfect.
Very nice.
Last Sun Rising and Absolute Power tie-in Wonder Woman number 11. So this Wonder Woman issue kind of runs straight into Task Force 7. It's a fallout of them looking for Captain Marvel and Mary Marvel, who were almost completely drained of their power by the Amazo who attacked them in the Wonder Woman issue, who ends up taking out Wonder Woman in that issue. And the Task Force one follows Last Sun, who is the Amazo who has absorbed all the Super Family's powers, and they're chasing after Shazam and Mary Marvel, who are in Billy Batson and Mary. They're just their kid forms, and they go to the Rock of Eternity to try to find something to fight back. It ties into Mark Waid's Shazam with the dinosaurs, and this Amazo comes after them, and he ends up getting in a fight with Black Adam. and he's having the Amazo's having this like confliction about like trying to kill the kids, and Black Adam's like, yeah, you don't just absorb their power, you absorb the way they think, the way they this. You got some of that, those morals, those pesky morals that the super family have. That's why you're finding it hard to do this. And then he catches Black Adam and absorbs his power before the end of the issue. I think it's really cool. I don't think it's essential to absolute power, but I think it's tying into it in a really fun way. And I think that's all you can really ask from a tie-in.
I like it.
And I'm excited to hear Frank talk about this.
Oh, I see. We'll have to wait for that. Marcus?
Yes.
Yes.
What you got? 'Cause Frank's
All right.
going last. Frank, we can wait for Frank.
Good call.
All right. So for my first pick, this was actually a blind buy that I just saw it and I saw the names who were on it and I was like, oh, I need to check this out. So this one is called Free Agents. It's a new release, Free Agents Image Comics, and it's co-written by Kurt Busiek and Fabian Nicieza. So Kurt Busiek is...
I know who Busiek is.
Say
Yeah.
that 3 times fast.
That was so
Yeah.
smooth the way you
I
said
mean,
that.
Isn't that nice?
those two are so iconic, especially with Marvel and DC, both. Kirk Busiek, of course, he did the JLA Avengers crossover with the late George Perez. Fabian Nicieza, he's the one who kind of launched Deadpool when Rob Liefeld created him. You know, so you have all of that going on. Yeah. So this was definitely something I had to check out, and it's a 40-page oversized issue at $3.99. So what's not to
That's
shout
awesome,
out?
That's
actually.
incredible.
It's a
And
steal.
yeah, so and what it does is it tells the story of a bunch of interdimensional heroes that are like a group, and they're interdimensional soldiers essentially, and they are. I mean, it puts you right into the action. First page, it's almost like watching Attack of the Sith when they're just warring over Coruscant already right from the jump. So you're in there, and it's throwing a lot at you at the same time as they're battling this particular enemy that's crossing dimensions, and they're kind of tracing them and following them, and you get introduced to each one of the characters, each one of these kind of I want to say I wouldn't say meta more, because there's a lot of mech in here too as well. So if you like a lot the mech stuff, you'll like this too. But it's almost like a kind of like a hybrid between the two of like just meta human superpowers and mech going on, and they're battling, and what ends up happening is they end up getting stranded on Earth, and they have to now find their way back to where they're from. And while they're doing that, they're trying to survive because they came to Earth to fight this battle, and then they were going to just bounce essentially. But now they're kind of finding themselves in a little pickle. So there's a lot of setup going on here. Not sure. It could go in a number of different directions. So we'll see how that goes. But it was actually a pretty fun read. You had to really focus though, because there's a lot being thrown at you in this one. A lot of action.
Sounds great.
Mm-hmm. And then this one was an interesting one because it was kind of like a stealth issue. I don't know what Marvel was doing. I think their plan was, based on what was said inside here at the end, they were trying to do an issue of reintroducing Mark Spector, Moon Knight, but they were doing it in a way that where you would just go into the comic book store and see it and be like, oh, there's a new Moon Knight, without really advertising it, keeping it a secret right until the end. And I don't know if they were that successful because it caused a lot of confusion. So anyway, Moon Knight 0 issue, Fist of Khonshu, not to be confused with the Vengeance of Moon Knight that's still going. It's still ongoing by Jed MacKay. This is also by Jed MacKay, but it's essentially very confusing.
Really is confusing.
Because especially since the Moon Knight stuff is kind of tying in with Blood Hunt as well, so you're like, okay, what's going on here? But what this issue does is it's reintroducing Mark Spector, Moon Knight. Moon Knight, he is back. He's been dead. He's passed away in the main kind of series where it ends with his death, and then this mini series is kind of, or this ongoing series that's going on now, is dealing with the fallout of that, as well as Blood Hunt, as well as people kind of stepping in to fill in Moon Knight's or Mark Spector's shoes while he's dead. So now this is kind of like the shadowy issue that's supposed to reintroduce him, and he's now back. the Khonshu god is now free again. He was imprisoned in Asgard somewhere, so he wasn't able to assist his fists of Khonshu like he usually does, and that may have contributed to Mark Spector's demise at the end of the main run that we had. So this one was interesting. It's a good jumping on point for those who want to get into Moon Knight, as well as kind of like cool, good information moving forward as well for those who are already on it. So not bad, but I was just kind of, it was confusing because I saw it and then I didn't see it. And then I had to call some people and I was like, what's going on with this issue?
I saw it, then I didn't.
Yeah. I saw like one variant left for like $30 at one of the local comic book stores. And I was like, wait a minute.
Is that you?
Yeah. I was like, what is going on? So I had to do some research. And I found it. Yeah.
But I think Marcus is because what's going on with the Blood Hunt stuff. Our resident Jed McKay expert, Brendan's there in the chat. I mean, he can probably shed a little light on it, but I think it's just due to the release schedule because they want to make some announcements for what's going to be happening in the coming months.
Right.
And I don't know if they timed it 100% correctly, but it did kind of feel like it was like a secret drop, like type of thing for the issue, and then people were like, "Oh, it's out already, or is it coming out?" You know, and then it's like, "No, it's in stores."
Yeah, Brendan said they shadow dropped it, and that it's great.
Real quick, Jason Aaron is back with a new limited series of Namor, or if you watch Wakanda Forever, Namor. Namor is being held in a prison, and there is like basically a society of like 7 different tribes that are ruling the Undersea Kingdom, and he's got to find his way to get out. I was nervous about this because you know how much a lot of people really enjoyed Dark Knights of Steel.
Stellar.
Tom Taylor, I mean, they knocked it out of the park. Dark Knights of Steel, this is a spin-off of it. It is a continuation. You do not have to read Dark Knights of Steel to read this. This is all winter. All I've got to say is if you wanted to see Deathstroke as a Viking, this is your series. You got another
never
cover
thought
there.
that, but now I want to read it.
Vandal Savage is in here. There is a backup story that's called Heir to the Sea.
To the Sea,
featuring Black Manta featuring the Kents, and that's done by Federici and Tom Taylor. They're doing the backup story for this. This is a 6-issue limited series. It's under the Elseworlds imprint, and it's really solid. As far as the Namor,
how was that? Was it good?
I liked it. It's 8 issues. I'm going to give it like probably a couple more shots so you see what happens.
Right.
You know,
You went 8 episodes through Acolyte, so you should be able to finish that.
if I can watch Acolyte,
Yeah, that's
I can
true.
read Namor. Okay, and then they're doing Deadpool kills the Marvel
Real
Universe
cool.
cover variants for a lot of the titles right now because of the Deadpool Wolverine movie coming out next Thursday in theaters, and this is the Namor. It's got Namor. It was pretty great.
Namor
So I just
and
wanted to bring that one in. But as far as announcements. Paul wanted to get into a little bit of the stuff that's going to be going on with DC and their all-in initiative.
Yep.
All right.
They'll be the major announcement is coming up next weekend.
Yeah.
So
some Justice League.
in October, they're going to be starting their new initiative called All In, which I mean is like kind of just a selling point for them. It doesn't really mean that much. They're launching a couple extra titles and changing some creative teams, but it's a way to get people to buy comics. The big ones, the big new things going on are going to be the Absolute universe, which is reminiscent of the Ultimate universe for Marvel.
Okay.
Absolute Batman, and all these are going to be releasing in October or early November. Absolute Batman is going to be Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta. Absolute Wonder Woman is going to be Kelly Thompson and Hayden Sherman, and Absolute Superman is going to be Jason Aaron and Rafa Sandoval. And I don't have this here, but Flash, I don't know the artist attached, but is going to be written by Jeff Lemire. And then coming up in October, there's going to be a big shakeup with the mainline books. The major ones are going to be Batman is going to keep the same creative team, so that one will be the same. And Josh Williamson will be getting Dan Mora as his artist on Superman, which is super dope. And then, so that you like what I did there? Thank you. So the ones changing are Dan Waters and Dexter Soy are going to be taking over Nightwing. Tom Taylor is leaving after his storied run. John Layman and Pete Woods are taking over Titans from Tom Taylor. Torrin Gronbeck and Fabiana Mascolo are taking over Catwoman. And then the big ones, Tom Taylor and Michael Janin are taking over Detective Comics.
Ooh.
PKJ and Javier Fernandez are taking over Batman and Robin.
That's a pickup, bro.
That's
detective. That's a pickup.
And then Mark Waid and Clayton Henry are going to be taking over Action Comics, which is huge. And Mariko Tamaki and Skylar Patridge are going to be doing the backup Supergirl stories for Action
the
Comics.
backup stories are going to be featuring Supergirl in Action Comics.
So I'm really excited for those. I'm a little partial.
October.
The one I'm probably most excited for is PKJ, him taking over Batman and Robin. He posted a really fun picture of him and his kid dressed up as Batman and Robin. So you know he has the passion for that, and I'm really excited for that. And then Tom Taylor doing anything and Mark Waid doing anything.
Well, they're going to be doing a one-shot 64-issue thing to start off the All-In initiative. I think that's the first week of October.
Yep.
And then the stuff will all be rolling out October, November, first week of December with the titles.
Yeah, Absolute Batman is October 9th, Absolute Wonder Woman October 23rd, and Absolute Superman is November 6th. And they're going to be like brand new, fresh universes, kind of almost like the Mark Russell Ages comics or like New 52, except they're not erasing everything. They're just making it a side universe going, which eventually
Marcus, your
will
thoughts?
tie in.
I think they're cool. That sounds really good. Definitely excited for the Jeff Lemire stuff, the Wade stuff. I think there was another announcement too where Chris Samney is taking over. Yes, it was. I think it's they're doing another Batman.
They're doing
Robin,
a Batman and Robin with
Year
Mark
One?
Waid and Chris Samney. Batman
Right.
and Robin Year One with Mark Waid writing and Chris Samney as the artist. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Because I posted that and I was like, wait a minute, there's something. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, my thoughts. Action has been killing.
Chris
it.
Samney is very underappreciated.
I think so. I agree.
love Chris Samney.
I agree. And not only that, but like Wade and Samney reunited because they did a Daredevil run together. That was their Daredevil run.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. Now they're together for DC. So
What was
that'll
he
be cool.
doing? Captain America covers, and he was doing the art for Daredevil or something?
He was doing I think he was doing both internals and covers for his Wade run.
No.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Rob,
Action, yeah.
what do you think?
I'm not into reading as many comics as you guys. So, but back when I was big Snyder fan, so seeing him come back for something with Batman is that gets me very excited to get back into reading some of this stuff. So, I think out of everything you said, that and then Jeff Lemire for sure.
On Flash.
Even though I'm not a huge Flash fan,
Same.
Right.
with him writing it, I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
Right.
Same.
Because a good writer, Acolyte, pay attention. A good writer will take something far. So
Yeah.
Right.
I'm excited for that.
I agree.
Anything
I agree.
PKJ does is gold.
Yep.
We're
Anything
on
Mark Waid does is gold. So.
We're on it.
Right.
No, I'm hyped. I'm still trying to wrap my head around all the shifts.
Tom
I guess
Taylor
it's a
with
lot.
Detective though? That's crazy, man. That just sounds I don't know. It depends on how you it just wow. But his writing style is so kind of like.
And then Dan Moore is going to be doing
Smooth.
Superman. The artwork, Williamson's still writing it.
Williamson is still writing it. Yes, he's joining Williamson to continue that. In
So then is he
October.
not going to go back to World's Finest?
I think I think World's Finest is changing the writer and the artist, which because I'm partial to those two characters, I'll probably keep that book, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'll probably keep it too.
Marcus, really quick, did you like Acolyte? What did you think? Did you like it
You
out
think
of
he
10?
watched
Yeah, I don't think he
Did you
stopped.
give
I
it a
think he
9?
stopped watching it.
I think.
He watched the first 2 episodes, right?
That was it, though.
That's what you got to push through.
No,
Oh, he fell asleep.
I fell asleep on the
Okay.
first episode.
Yeah, he said he didn't want to watch anymore after he fell asleep.
Was it in the
Yeah.
opening fight scene in the cantina?
He fell asleep then?
I don't even. I couldn't even tell you.
So he
was
loved
over
it.
He
Yeah.
fell asleep during
10
the
out of 10
power
for
of one,
Marcus.
Carrie
Yeah.
Ann Moss dead yet?
Yeah,
power of 2.
Is she dead?
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't.
The one big name actor they kill off in the first episode.
Yeah.
Immediately.
That was a bait and switch, probably.
It really was.
Marcus, what do you got for the people?
Nothing. Just be safe out there.
Oh.
All right.
It's hot and wet.
It's hot and wet and moist. Yes, it's the streets especially.
I agree.
Wow.
And so be careful out there. Love one another.
Stay away from the hot,
We
moist,
comic
wet
books.
streets.
That's right. That's
Says
right.
Marcus.
Slicky rolls.
Shane,
Yeah.
what do you got for the people?
General Shakuka, you my baby.
butt queen.
I love to make you uncomfortable just by mentioning.
Just shaking their heads.
Everybody
butt
goes,
queen.
oh,
They're like this crazy
butts."
Uncle Shane.
Her buttocks.
Wow.
Hot, wet streets.
All right.
You got a
I love
Some
you.
ice water.
I love you. Thank you for coming back.
Rob, thanks.
Glad to be here.
I'm sorry.
Rob
to
is
be here.
one of the most wonderful people here.
One
love
of
him
the
so
most wonderful people here.
Question mark.
Well,
He's one of the
there's
most wonderful
6 of
people
us, so-
here.
Is it your top 6?
I break top 6. I'll take it.
Rob, what do you got?
The Jets.
You got a
will
couple more
win.
weeks until you're off vacation.
Couple more weeks. I've been on vacation for a while, so but hey, go love some people, go spread some love, and Dracarys.
Dracarys.
That's it. All right.
Oh wait, I didn't pick the winner for.
I'm
for
sorry.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
All winter, it's fantastic.
Yep.
Thanks, man.
Great pick.
That art was incredible. I just thumbed through it. The art is
Black and
absolutely
white too.
amazing.
Dope.
Paul, how can they get on us?
Whoa.
Oh yeah. Get on us, baby.
How can they get at us
On these
on
moist
a
streets.
big
Get down on
black
us.
and white Viking ship?
You
You
can
got
get
so
on
excited.
us at a big black Viking Viking ship at Into the West Comics on what did you know? At Into the West Comics on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Pods. At Into_Comics on Twitter. And right now, when this live stream ends, go to our page and watch our Keeping Up with the Targaryens Part 6. We are going through the full first season of The House of the Dragons. The House of the Dragons.
House of the Dragon.
Go check it out. Those videos have been doing
House
really well.
of the-
That's a lot of fun. So go let us know what you think of that.
It's pizza time in America, everybody.
Black pizza.
Have a great night. We love you,
Take
Las
a
Vegas.
16-inch white.
My word.
Love you,
Okay.
Eva.
Or black.
Good evening. We love you, Eva. We love you, Rob.
10
Love
inch
you,
black.
Rob. Thank you, Rob.
Love
Yeah.
you, Rob. Sorry, Rob.
Sorry, Rob.
Garlic knots.
The butt queen.
Let's do this.